Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. Today I just wanted to talk about an emergency garden. With everything that's going on with the healthcare crisis, people are really getting into gardening. But I don't want to kind of put out there that in an emergency you can grow some stuff really fast and then everything will be fine. It just doesn't work that way. You can have a garden and you can learn about gardening so that you can have food available for future emergencies and for future reasons, but you can't really just start gardening in the midst of an emergency to have plenty of food. I hope that makes sense. Gardening takes a lot of work. It takes planning. It's not overwhelming. You can do it. But for instance, I've been weeding for weeks, if not months, getting my beds ready. My garden's really big. You don't need a garden this big. But when you're thinking of emergency, you can't just come out and plant plants. You can plant plants that grow fast, but even the fast-growing plants take 25 days minimum with perfect temperatures like radishes or arugula. That's low end. Most of them take 40, 45 days, 60, 90 days, 100 days. That's not going to really help with an immediate emergency. But sometimes the emergency is more an emergency of time. What do we do with all of our time on hands with the healthcare crisis? I'm worried. What if this gets worse? Where am I going to get my food? Gardening is a perfect solution for that. It's perfect for your mind. It's perfect for developing now and doing for 90 days from now, 120 days from now. All these things I've been planting over the last couple of months, indoors, outdoors. Some of this stuff is from last year. You can have a garden like this over time. You can start really small, like I've been saying, with something like this, and pick what works for you. For instance, it's middle of April. I had my potatoes coming up, and those are potatoes there. This is frost damage because it got too cold, it froze. These are plants that are, like, if you look at these, they're a little more green compared to them. That survived the frost. Or there's no way to rush garden plants so that you get food out of them and get them to your table more quickly. It's going to take time. But I would really encourage everybody during this time to think about what kind of garden you would want. Proceed with a good speed, but plan it out. Like, what do you like? Like everything that you're seeing here. Do you want a small bed, a 4x4 raised bed? Do you want something bigger? That you can grow into, so to speak, over the season. There's all different kinds of options that you can have really to grow vegetables. Raised beds, as I talked about. Earth bed right back there, probably the easiest way to do it. Containers, you can grow in containers. You can buy metal beds. These have no bottoms. Those are fire rings. I've talked about that. You could just set something up just like that for your garden space. Now, when you're thinking about emergencies and maybe you're coming here because of the healthcare crisis, it's really a learning curve. What you do now is you learn about the different kinds of raised beds. You learn about fertilizers. You learn about soils. You learn about amendments. You think about what are your favorite vegetables to eat, and that's what you grow. In here, I have cool weather crops. You learn about cool weather crops and warm weather crops. Those are peas. Over there it's broccoli. That's garlic. And most of what's in here now are what's considered cool weather crops. They can take a light frost or freeze. Think about trellising. What do you want to grow vertically? I'm doing a video right after this on my two must-have vegetables. It's going to be kale and beans in your garden for different reasons. You think about composting. Do you have space for composting? You learn about cold composting, warm or hot composting. Think about your space. The whole idea is not to rush out, throw stuff in the ground, and hope for the best. It's just not going to be a good experience for you. So take this emergency period, this time where we have a lot of time on our hands, lots of uncertainty, and really learn about gardening. Pick what you like to eat. Pick a small space. If you want a reference point, I've talked about this in other videos. This is basically a 16-foot by 16-foot square. I have video series on this, which I'll link all that in But you can start with something small like this. These were all planted by seed. Those are transplants back there. I have my trellising growing in containers right there. Those are herbs. Radishes back there in the flower box on the bench. And that is garlic back there in a pail. These aren't going to feed you in the next month. They're not going to take care of an emergency, which our supermarkets are not going to shut down. But it can get you to a place where you're learning, you're planning, you find a hobby, you get things going, you start growing your own food, you supplement what you grow to what you buy at the grocery stores, and over the next years, you have a great hobby, and you really are now prepared for future emergencies. Hope you understand that. Hope you find a hobby through gardening that really is rewarding. Something that you really enjoy right in there. Those are asparagus plants. That's purple passion. I have a complete row of asparagus going all the way down there to the end of the green post there. Now, asparagus takes 3 years to really establish. I can eat some of those spears. This is my second year. Third year, I'm going to have tons of asparagus. Doesn't solve an emergency for now, but with planning and learning, I'll have tons of asparagus next year, and I can even share it with people. I have a fruit garden over there. Blueberries, blackberries, currants, hops vines, grapevines. But just take your time, learn, enjoy, and maybe you're going to build something for your future that you can enjoy out in your yard. Thanks so much for watching, and please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com.